Today I'm going to show you the features of the Xyron border patterns for your Xyron Creatopia. The starter kit comes with flower cartridges, but there are also a variety of other patterns available for your projects. Your Creatopia machine comes with your permanent adhesive cartridge and component already inside. So in order to install the border patterns, I'm going to take out my adhesive cartridge, and to do that, you press your positioning button and roll it back to the third position. There's a 1, 2, and 3 on the side of your Creatopia so you can see which position you need to be in. You're going to lift your adhesive cartridge straight up and out. Then you're going to push the positioning button again, roll it forward into position number 2. Press the component buttons, which can be found on either side of the machine. Press those in, and then lift your adhesive component out as well and set it aside. Then to install your border patterns, you always want to install it with the lighter roller facing up, and there's also a 1 and 2, so you can see that the 1 needs to be at the top. And you're going to install the gear side on the same side as the crank handle, but there's also a gear inside the machine that you can see, so you'll know you're lining it up correctly. And you just want to press this down into the component track, and you'll hear a clicking noise, so you know it's locked in, but you'll also be able to see the 2 little white locks on either side, so you know you've got it in there nice and tight. You're going to lift your tray and press it in, and it's going to line up right up against your rollers. And then you have a guide on either side of your tray, and you're just going to press your paper against the guide. And then it's real easy to just flip it around and do it on the other side. Then you've got a darling border pattern that you can do on one side of your page or on both sides. This is perfect for cards, invitations. It's just darling. To switch out your border patterns cartridges, you again want to make sure that your tray is in the upright position, just like when you're on the plane. You push the component buttons, and that's going to allow you to lift your component right out of the machine. The easiest way to take your cartridges off of the component is to just pull toward you. And a couple things you want to keep in mind when you're switching out your cartridges. You want to make sure that the text is up. There's a Xyron on one side and a 1 and 2 with some images on the other, and you just want to make sure that those are facing up. The cartridges are going to pop right off, and then you can do whatever makes you feel the most comfortable, whatever way is easiest for you to put the cartridges back on. A couple things to keep in mind. There's a triangle on one side of each cartridge, and you want to make sure that the triangles are facing the same direction, the same side of the component. And the dark cartridge is always going to go on the bottom of the component or the gear side, and the lighter cartridge is going to go on the top. The darker cartridge has the black O-ring, so that's another way to tell which is which. And you're just going to slide it onto the rods. The rods are D-shaped, so you'll know that you've got it going in the right direction. And then everyone makes fun of me, but the easiest way for me to get these on is to push it up against the girls and press in. And then we're just going to put our rods back together. And if you find that the rods are not exactly lined up with your component, you can rotate them a little bit until they get in exactly the spot you need. And then you're just going to put it back into the machine. Again, the gear side goes on the side with the gear in the machine. The other one goes, and you just pop it in until it's locked. So now we're going to use our heart cartridges. You slide the tray back in. And what's fantastic about this is you can do a variety of sizes of paper. It doesn't have to be 12 by 12. Because you're doing the border, you can do it on whichever end you like. So I'm going to use an 8 by 8 piece of paper. I'm going to roll it through the first time. And then if you want, for patterns like the heart pattern where there is a top and a bottom of each heart, if you want to just flip it around and have one set of borders going one direction and one set the other, we just flip the paper around like we did with the floral pattern. And this is going to give you a nice border pattern on each side of your paper, one going up and one going down. But what if I wanted the hearts going up on both sides? Well, you can do that now with the fabulous Creatopia machine. So I am going to start off again with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, line it up against my guide, And then I'm going to set this aside for just 1 second, and I'm going to actually move the cartridges over to the other side of the machine. In order to do that, again, remember you always want to have your tray in the upright position. I feel like a stewardess. Then I'm going to press down on the component buttons. That's going to pop this right out. And the easiest way for me, everybody will find the way that's easiest for them, is I just push it up against me and press these into place and slide it right back into the machine. Again, lock it in. Put your tray back down and slide it in so it's right up against your borders. Now when I roll it through on the opposite side, it's going to give me the exact same pattern with the hearts facing up. And now you can see the difference between the two patterns, one going up in both directions and one going up and one going down. So that really gives you a lot of possibilities when you're working with your border patterns. For more information about Creatopia, check us out at Xyron.com.